Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Looking at the NBA on Wednesday, 11 games here. So lots to choose from here on the night. Going to review how we did on Tuesday. Just 3 bets on the card, all from that Celtics game. It didn't really go that well, I'll be honest, but we'll look at it really quick just to see what we learned from Tuesday night before we get into what I've got here for Wednesday. Don't have anything down on the card yet. A lot of injury news that's still roaming around. You've probably heard me say that before by now, as we are in March in the NBA, and that's what it is. So I'm going to be looking at 3 games that I feel really strongly about right now. And I'm happy to be able to dive into these 3 a little bit more deeply rather than spread myself too thin, as we don't really even know who's playing in every single game right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get into all that stuff. If that sounds good, give this video a like, subscribe to that channel so you don't miss any of the action we're bringing you. Let's get right into it. Like I said, 0-3 here on Tuesday. Didn't end up playing any of the other games because I didn't really like any of the other games, and there was a ton of news and the guys that were out in the other 3 games as well, so didn't really mess with those. Pritchard didn't come through, didn't shoot that well, but didn't shoot that much either. Nobody really scored that many points for this team. Derek White did the majority of the lifting there, and KP obviously as well with his double-double. Really good game, which is also why Al Horford didn't end up getting his boards there. It was KP who ended up guarding guys like Nick Claxton and the centers down low, and that's why he got the rebounds. In the previous or prior matchup, Al Horford was the one guarding the bigs, even when KP was out there. So for whatever reason, they switched it tonight. In the 4 prior games, what we looked up here for Al Horford to like the rebounds was that he had been rebounding a ton with Kristaps in and without Jaylen Brown. And it just wasn't the case. Perhaps Tatum being out did impact that. That kind of probably messed with the matchups a bit. I actually expected Tatum to be in. So we take the licks there. We're actually down now 48.2 units or so on the season. That should be updated a bit from a couple of days ago. So I'll update that here for the show coming forward. But let's go ahead and look at these looks that I've got. I've got some cool new matchup graphics I want to show you. So let's go ahead and get right into Wednesday here. So I only have one of these made for tonight, but I'm going to start doing this moving forward with you guys because we need to know who is guarding whom. That is super crucial for a lot of the bets that we want to make here. So the first game I've done this with for you guys here is the Rockets. They are in Orlando. And in this one, we do know that we're going to be missing, potentially missing Cole Anthony, I should say. I don't know that he's going to play. And even if he does, I don't think he's getting legit minutes. So I've got Corey Joseph in there as the starter at the point or pseudo point guard, whatever Cole Anthony's role was. Really, Paolo's the point guard, but he and Van Vliet matched up. KCP and Jalen Green once again, then Dylan Brooks and Paolo. Tari Eason and Franz Wagner, and Şengün and Wendell Carter. We saw these matchups exactly like this in the last game that they just played not that long ago here in March, and we did see Dylan Brooks be the main defender on Paolo. Eason and Jabari Smith Jr. switched off on Franz Wagner when they were out there. Eason has done a ton, though, to sort of earn himself that starting spot over Jabari, so I do think we're going to keep seeing Tari Eason in the starting lineup. And what we can do with this kind of stuff is kind of then use it to get into the bets, specifically when we see guys guarding certain guys out of position to maybe get rebounds. We can take under on their boards. When we see guys who are guarded by a really good defender, perhaps they're going to be forced to get the ball out of their hands and assist more. So that's the kind of stuff that we're looking for here. I'll be using this and referencing it here as we get into Props Madness to go through this game right now. All right, as we use our matchups to get into Props Madness here, going to be sharing my screen and showing you this, the #1 sports betting tool available for the NBA without question, a one-stop shop for everything you need, whether it's matchups or comparisons with the odds and the like. If you do want to get in on Props Madness, you can get a free trial by using code LYB. Use it for 7 days free. See if you like it and before you jump in and pay that monthly fee. Pretty cheap, low 20s. I believe it's like $20 a month. And if you do use code LYB, you get 25% off your first month. So highly recommend jumping into Props Madness here as we get into this Rockets and Magic game. So let's go ahead and use that matchup data that I showed you to see who's guarding whom. And we know KCP and Jalen Green are going to be on each other. And as a result, Jalen Green is going to be taking a lot of shots from further away from the basket. And that's a big reason why I like under here pretty much for everything for KCP. It's a big reason why I started with the rebounds going, oh yeah, I can't wait to take under boards for this guy, whatever it is. We're going to get some about flat, right? It's about -120, -125 here for under on the boards, but I'm taking it all. I'm taking all of it under PRA. This is what I'm looking at for tomorrow morning, hoping that these numbers are still around to go and fade Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. You can see they just played this matchup here, like I said, on the 10th of March, 21 minutes in that game, 4 rebound chances, 0 field goal attempts, and 2 potential assists to get 0 assists and a board. And no points, because you can't score if you don't shoot, right? So I don't think he's going to be shooting once more. Big reason for that. 33 or 31% rather of his points come off the spot up. This is the second best spot up defense in the league, but it's really as good as any of them, right? I think Orlando actually might be number one. Point is against both these teams, it's going to be slow. You're not going to get easy assist looks, right, where you're going to drive and kick. So there's no way KCP gets like 2 potential assists last game. If he gets one, God bless. Still going to go under the 1.5 that we have here that's added to our bet. So love under for all of it, because I don't think he takes more than maybe a couple shots, if any, because he didn't take any last game. I think the rebound chances stay super low because he's out further away guarding Jalen Green, who's taking the bulk of the shots for this team right now and scoring a ton. And then as far as the assists go, like, this is not what he does. If he doesn't have a shot when he gets the ball passed to him, he's passing it right back. So we're going to be fading KCP in a terrible matchup for him against the Rockets. Might not surprise you to know that I'm mostly going under in this game. We just saw this one finish under 200 points. I believe it was under $180. It was like 97, 89, whatever it was. It was not even 190 points. Let's say that. So I am going to be going under again, and I'm looking at the assists for Paolo. This might dip into 5.5. You can see the over is at -150 in some places, -160 even on DraftKings, indicating that they think there's a high likelihood that he goes over 4.5 assists. So they're going to give us 5.5 at some point. Great. I'll take 5.5 and go under that instead. At 4.5 for plus money, I'd also take that against the number 1 assist defense in the league here. And you can see in their last game when they just played on the 10th for him, as far as the dimes go, he had 3 of them on 7 potentials. And what we say is you really need to have at least, you expect about 50, maybe 55 at best, 55% of someone's potential assists to turn into regular assists, which is what we've got about here, right? About 55% or so of his potential assists turning into 3 dimes in the game there. And with Dylan Brooks just ball hawking him the whole time and everybody else letting them go one-on-one on defense, you're not going to see Paolo get very many open guys off of him, right? That's a big reason why this team doesn't give up assists in the first place, is that they don't help out on the ball handler. They stay on the shooters and don't double team. So that's why you can see where this team is really good at limiting assists. This season assist chart rather is the most helpful thing here, at least the most unique thing here on Props Madness, is this tool, so that when you have assists selected, you scroll down and you can see where on the court Paolo is getting the bulk of his assists, and you can see where the Rockets are good at defending assists. They're number 1 in the corners, they're number 2 mid-range, number 2 above the break, and 8th best limiting assists inside the paint there, right, at 31%, where 31% rather of the assists for Paolo are coming. Don't know where he's going to get them, right? Like I said, if anything, we like points for Paolo over and not the assist, because he'll have the one-on-one matchup, but it's a tough matchup with Brooks. So I'm not going with any overs. I'm just going to be fading the dimes here for Paolo on Wednesday night. Might as well keep the under train going. We're going to ride with under for Tari Eason here. And he's at 7.5 rebounds. That's where we're going to take that under for him. Best number is -1. Actually, you can get -130 on Bet365. You can get -136 on FanDuel. This will open up a lot more as these lines continue to open up on different books, right? But 7.5 is too many. I mean, this dude is not an 8 rebound a game guy. He's gotten 8, 8, and 10 in his last 3, and he's getting big minutes. I mean, the last 2, 31 and 39 minutes, thanks to overtime there against Philly, but still got the 39 minutes, which you give him about 34 if he played all of overtime. Still very high minutes for him. With Amin Thompson missing, I should say, we are going to see he and Jabari play low 30s, but probably more for Tari and then high 20s for Jabari. But this is still too high, man. I mean, even if you give this dude, if we take his minutes and we filter them, we say, all right, let's give him a floor of 28 minutes and say there's no way he's playing less than that. But let's give him a ceiling of about 34. That's what he's been playing. So he's still at about 7.4 rebounds per game when he gets that amount of minutes. And this is the number 3 rebounding team in the league. You can see in the game he just played against them, he had 33 minutes. He did have 7 boards, but he only had 11 rebound chances. 11 rebound chances is not good enough to get 8 boards, right? You want someone, again, to be similar to the potential assists, about 50% for some guys. Some guys get about 60% of their rebound chances, but mostly big guys who are battling other good rebounders, like Tari will be in this game when he's battling with not probably Powell, with Franz a little bit more. He's still not going to be in good position to get rebounds, right? Because 1, this is not something he does off 12 rebound chances is not good. Then the positioning is what we talk about, which is why I like knowing that he's guarding Franz Wagner, which I found by going into the box score for the last game. So first thing, not a lot of rebound chances coming his way. Second thing, not a lot of rebound chances coming because he's guarding Franz Wagner, who's out on the 3-point line, does a lot of his work either driving to the rim or pulling up. And that puts Tari Eason way out of position to get the boards. That's why he only had 11 in this last game and why I like him to go under once again. Not an 8 rebound a game guy, just on average. So when you get up to 7.5, I'm out, especially without him getting 15, 16 rebound chances. He's only at 11 or 12. So I'm happy to go under on the 8 rebounds here. Wanted to make sure you guys knew if you do want to jump into the VIP this season, like I said, still surging with 50 units made or so right now as we head down the stretch here. You can get in on the action. Go ahead and sign up for any of the sports books that you see scrolling underneath me. Plenty in there. So you probably don't have at least one of them, an account with at least one of them. Sign up using code LYB. Go ahead and get all your free money and your bonus bets. And then send me a screenshot at JLBoogie on Twitter or Discord. And I'll go ahead and get you a free month of access to the VIP. See if you like it. Also, it gives you access to sign up for the one-on-one sports betting consultations that I'm giving folks to help you become a better and understand what we're doing here to the core. So you can get some strategies built in for yourself as well. But happy to see you guys in there. Hope that you do jump into that VIP and get everything that we're giving you in there. Let's take a quick look at this Dallas and Indy game because I wanted to show you guys something here. It doesn't even really matter about the matchups. What matters here is the injury report. And that's why whenever I do meet with people with those sports betting consultations, first thing we talk about for like the first 3 meetings is let's dissect these injury reports. Let's help you understand how to dissect the injury reports because they're super crucial to help you get ahead of these betting markets. So how that we can use that here for the Pacers is we have Pascal questionable, we have Tyrese Halliburton questionable, we have Jarris Walker questionable. The key here is we also have 3 G Leaguers for the Pacers that are available to play in this game. Every time that you look at an NBA injury report, if you see a G Leaguer on there, you're going to see him normally be out, and it'll say on G League assignment. Well, when a G Leaguer is listed as available for an NBA game, and you happen to know the Pacers G League squad recently played at home and is nearby with those players available to play in Indy here on Wednesday, you kind of put the tea leaves together and you go, all right, it makes sense that if these G Leaguers are available, that's because they're going to take the place of these starters who aren't going to play, like Tyrese Halliburton, like Pascal, and like Jarris Walker. I don't expect any of those 3 to play, and at most, one of them is going to play in this game, maybe Pascal. But more importantly, we are going to see some G Leaguers for the Pacers. So keep that in mind and keep things, pretty simple here. I kind of wanted to show you the box score from their last game to show you what I'm talking about. So I've got the box score here from this Pacers and Timberwolves game, and there's a couple things that stand out, which I think are going to be somewhat replicable in this game against a Dallas team that's not even nearly as good on defense as Minnesota, who gave up a $130 to this Pacers squad with their mostly backups. But the things that stand out, 45 minutes for Obi, even with OT, is like, so he was a 40-minute game for Obi Toppin. We were joking in the VIP. It's the Obi Toppin legacy game. 34 points, 10 boards, 2 dimes. He had a block and a steal, right? Just 2 turnovers, by the way, in 45 minutes is incredible for this man. I think we got to go back to him. I mean, if Pascal is out again, 45 minutes for Obi Toppin, even if he gets 30 minutes, he never gets 30 minutes. When he gets 20 minutes, he's often good for 15 points. So he's a really dynamic scorer that's going to be probably in a really good matchup because there's still nobody down low for this Dallas defense who they've pretty much given up on the season outside of the fact that they don't even have enough guys to form a team right now. The other thing that stands out is Andrew Nembhard played 19 minutes and TJ McConnell played 30 minutes. Basically just these 2 guys played off of each other, right? Andrew Nembhard comes out, TJ McConnell goes in, but Andrew Nembhard was playing poorly and TJ McConnell was not. I have to go back and look at why Rick Carlisle might have gotten so upset with Nembhard, but Ben Shepherd and TJ McConnell were working things. So they ended up playing a lot more of the guard minutes. And then you had Benny Matz playing in the forward spot alongside Jarris Walker and a little bit of Thomas Bryant. But for the most part, this 13 assists for TJ McConnell clearly led the team, also had 19 potential assists in this game in 30 minutes. And he's another guy like Obi, who always plays 20 minutes, 25 minutes max. And all of a sudden he's getting 30 minutes. We're going to like his dimes as well. He had 82 passes made in this last game. The second place guy with passes made, by the way, was Obi Toppin with 60, which is going to happen when you play 45 minutes. You're going to have probably more stats in any way than anybody. But the key here, too, is the McConnell had, it was Obi second with 60, and then nobody even had 50 after that. So clearly, it is TJ McConnell's offense. He is just really coming in and replicating Halliburton because Nembhard isn't getting it done in a lot of ways. And it was clear that Rick Carlisle got fed up. So I'd be looking at that again. Nembhard will probably start. There's no way TJ McConnell comes off the bench. But in the likelihood that TJ McConnell outplays Andrew Nembhard in this one, especially against a team that's not really bringing much where you're going to need Nembhard's defense too much. There's no one you have to stop. There's no Kyrie. There's no Luka. There's nobody, right? It's not going to like you, Andrew Nembhard has to guard Max Christie. It doesn't matter. So you're going to get TJ McConnell out there to run a much better offense than when Nembhard is the point guard. So I'm going to be looking at his dimes once they're made available and once we learn that these guys are, in fact, ruled out for the Pacers. I also got to take at least one bet here for the Mavs. I don't like betting on these teams that are clearly tanking, but the Mavs don't have a choice but to play their players 30 plus minutes because they're only playing 8 of them. Some games they have 7. They've been in jeopardy of having to forfeit because they don't have enough players because everybody's hurt or pseudo hurt or whatever. But PJ clearly could play. They just don't have any reason to, and they're not trying to make the playoffs. So he is going to have to play. They don't want him to, but he played 32 minutes in a loss. I'll repeat, a loss to the 76ers because they got done in by Quentin Grimes since they traded him, and he got back at them for that. He did him in. They lost, but he still played 32 minutes for PJ here, taking 17 shots, 9 free throws. That's the case again. Like if he's out there for 30 plus minutes, which he's going to be, then he's going to walk into 15 plus shots. There's no doubt about it. And in these situations, I got to like him, right? Without Luka, especially, you just take Luka out. Let's also take like Gafford out on the season. You see his numbers go up a ton, right? He's at 16.4 points per game with 2 big duds because he played 15 when he got hurt against the Bucks. 35 minutes and went 0 against the Lakers in that game with AD missing in that one after the second time they played. So I don't care about that. This Pacers defense is going to be full of backups. PJ Washington is still going to be a good look for the points. Probably going to put a little double play together for him as well once we get these lines more available across all these books. The third game I told you I was going to dive into here is Wizards at Jazz. Might not be the one that you thought because it's not full of 2 teams that are not going anywhere fast and they've been tanking for a while. But I definitely have some patterns that we can bank on here. First of all, they are tanking. There's no question about it. They need to lose, both these teams. But Colin Sexton and Lauri Markkanen are playing as opposed to a couple of the other injured players. We know John Collins is going to be out. We know Kessler is out. That's huge. KJ Martin, Svi Mikhailuk, and Jalen Springer. All those guys are out. So we're going to see Colin Sexton in the starting lineup with Collier, with Flip, with Markkanen, and probably with Micah Potter as well. So what do we do with that? We know we've got Flip at center, forward center, whatever. Let's just start with him. Let's see what happens when he plays without Walker Kessler, which is huge because now he's coming in as the starting center. Take Kessler out. Flip, rather, you can see when he gets minutes, because he wasn't always getting minutes earlier in the season, well, he's going to be playing 30 plus like he has been. He just played against the Wizards without Kessler, played 29 minutes. So let's say he plays at least 28 in this one and be somewhat conservative. I think he gets to 30. But let's say he plays 28 minutes. In games where he's played at least 28 minutes this season without Kessler, over in 7 of 9, 17 points per game. Flip is going to be a bet here, man. We're going to be taking him for 15 plus, might throw 20 plus out there for him as well, because even though he's playing with Sexton and Markkanen, these guys are not playing. They're not getting minutes. They're just not going to get their normal minutes. You can see here for Sexton, first of all, without Kessler in these games, doesn't look really good, but that's more just noise and coincidence. More importantly, look at the games where he's playing minutes. Look at the games where he's not playing minutes. The games where he's playing minutes, he's playing good teams. The games he's not, he's playing bad teams because they can't afford to win. So they're playing Colin Sexton not as much when they play bad teams. I would consider the Wizards a very bad team. So I'm looking at, let's just look at the game log here. 34 minutes against the Timberwolves, 20 minutes against the Raptors, 30 minutes against the Grizzlies, 33 minutes against the Celtics, 24 minutes against the Raptors. Are you noticing the pattern here? This team sucks. He doesn't play. This team's good. He plays 33. This team's good. He plays 30. This team sucks. He plays 20. I mean, they're not even trying to hide it, man. It's just right in front of you. So I am taking it under on Sexton. I'm taking it over on Flip points. Under on Sexton, 19.5. I love that. Over on Flip, 12.5 points, laddered to 15. Going to add some 20 in there. I'm staying away from the boards for Flip because they're at 10.5. Get out of here, man. He's not that good of a rebounder. In fact, this is a legit under. Even against this Wizards team that he just played against. Well, he had okay, let's slow down a little bit. He had 13 on 21 rebound chances. That doesn't look good for the point that I'm making. I'm not going to be going under. But what I did want to make clear is Micah Potter eats into this stuff. And Micah Potter didn't play as much in this Wizards game here just a few weeks ago. He should be in the starting lineup. He just played a good amount against the Bulls. I believe we're going to see him out there again alongside Flip and Markkanen, and that's going to lead to probably fewer rebounds for Flip because Micah Potter is going to be guarding the big. Well, he'll probably be guarding Alex Sarr in this matchup. That's the other problem is I don't know who's going to be playing for this Wizards squad. We got Poole who's doubtful. We got Middleton out, right? We know it's going to be Sarr and Bub Carrington and Keyshawn George, who's questionable. AJ Johnson, not really sure who else we're going to get entirely. So staying away from the Wizards stuff, but Flip against a team that's been the worst at defending centers all season. Great. Love that. And then an under here for guys like Sexton, probably Markkanen, although he can score in bunches. Same thing for him. 24 minutes, 26 minutes, 19 minutes, 28 minutes. This dude is not playing 30, right? He's not getting his normal minutes. That's why it's at 16 and a half against a horrible team. The books are aware now that Markkanen is not going to get a full load. And Sexton, they seem to think might, but I don't think that. So I'm going to go under on Sexton, over on Flip on the points. Those are the two best bets that I have in this one, and might be coming back for a little bit more Collier love as well tomorrow. That is all the time I have for you guys. Appreciate the patience, as we are going to be coming back with the live show. It's just under construction. Like I said, not canceled. Going to be coming back. We'll keep you updated by next week, but I'm trying to put a few other things together. And do want to remind you, if you want to jump into the VIP, that is where you can get everything you see here, expert analysis and the picks, access to the guest cappers, and the best chat. I'm very confident that it's the best chat in any of the Discords that you might be in anywhere else, mostly because we're not toxic there. We're there to help each other and just bring looks, not talk about who's dumb and who's smart. That's not a conversation I'm interested in having. So hopefully you guys are happy to jump in there. Remember, I get you a free month if you're interested by signing up for any of these books and using code LYB. Then send me that screenshot at JLBoogie on Twitter and Discord, or Discord, whatever. I'll hit you back and get you that free month. So appreciate everybody. And until I see y'all next, happy betting.